All right. Number one, what is it like having your books turned into movies? Is there a favorite that you have?
The best movie I ever wrote was called Shock to the System, which I didn't write the book. I actually adapted it from another guy's book. When you see your own book made into a movie, it's kind of a weird experience because it's not the thing you wrote on the one hand. On the other hand, it is kind of bizarre that something that you conceived of alone in a room and put down on paper and created is suddenly being piped into like the girl on the plane next to you through her headset, you know? Right. And it is this kind of feeling of exposure. There's a sense in which, you feel very gratified by it, but also a sense in which you feel very distant from it. I guess that's the best way to put it. The famous, one quick thing, famous crime writer James M. Cain, one of the greatest American crime writers ever, had all his books were made into terrific movies. And somebody once said to him, how do you feel about what Hollywood did to your books? And he said, Hollywood didn't do anything to my books. They're right over there on the shelf. I think that's a very healthy attitude.
Yeah, that is nice. Is there one, I mean, you've had a couple of high profile, Clint Eastwood and Michael Douglas and a couple others that you've really done. Do they rip it apart? I mean, do they, like, oh, I didn't write it that way. It fits together like that. You didn't do it right.
There's always some moment like that. There's always some moment like that. I mean, the end of Don't Say a Word is one of my favorite parts of any of my books. And it's just one long fight between a little intellectual and a gigantic monster. And it's just, because he's trying to save his daughter. So he's got an extra. And I found it very moving. I found it moving to write. I still find it moving when I look back at it. They just cut it out and put up a big shoot 'em up and this, like fancy play. And so you kind of, grit your teeth. And the other thing in the Clint Eastwood movie, he's a reporter and he's a terrible person, but he's begun to suspect that a guy is going to be put to death unjustly. And he says to somebody, I don't care about right and wrong. I don't care about good and bad. I don't care about Jesus. I don't care about anything. All I care about are the things that happen. And it's a way of looking at the world. And they changed that in the movie to all I know is I have a nose for news. And I just thought, it was like the moral core
I already wrote it right. Why did you change it? All right. Number two, who is someone from history that you'd love to meet?
Oh, man, John Keats, who's one of the poets I talk about in this. I sometimes feel that if I get into heaven, he'll be the guy who greets me there. I felt so close to him as a young man in writing this book. He lived such a tragic life, but such a beautiful life in so many ways, and he wrote the best English poetry since Shakespeare. I think I can safely say that there's Shakespeare, and then there's Milton, and then there's Keats. And I just would love to see him,
All right, number three, what is your proudest accomplishment?
Oh, my family, probably. Yeah. I mean, my marriage is a literal gift from God. My wife and I constantly joke about how we did everything wrong, but we have been deeply and romantically in love with each other for over 40 years. And, so it's quite a thing. And I love my kids so much. And I think, it's hard to be proud of it because I really feel it was a gift, but still.
Good. All right, two more quick hits. Number four, is there a TV show that you're embarrassed to say that you watch?
Yes, Chicago PD. I watch it on the elliptical, and it's like I tell my wife that there's nothing more dangerous than being a friend of one of the cops on Chicago PD, because the only way the writers can figure out to get you to care is to kill off one of their friends. It's like, so if you start dating one of them, you're a dead man. No,
the plot lines. All right,
however, the lead is a great actor, so I love watching. Yeah.
Nice. All right, last one for you. Who's your favorite Daily Wire personality besides yourself?
Me. Oh, I can't actually answer that and go back, but they all have something that I love. Knowles, I'm kind of proud of Knowles because he started out his career started as the guy who wrote my Twitter feed.
Okay.
I used to tell him that he did it so well that I actually used to look at his tweets to see what I sound like, because he did such a great imitation of me, and he's done so well. And his book is wonderful too, Speechless. So I'm really proud of him. And of course, Shapiro is what made the thing started. The Daily Wire started with me and Shapiro in a Jeremy Boring's pool house on a card table doing these 15-minute podcasts. And it was really Shapiro's appeal that made the thing explode like that. So I have, and Walsh makes me laugh. So.
Well, you guys have been doing a great job, especially creating content, more conservative leaning content that's really Hollywood can't own it all, and the left can't have everything. And I'm really happy that you guys have really come in and are creating content that's an alternative. And you guys have written a couple of movies lately. They're a little bit dark, more kind of a horror bent. And who's the lady from Star Wars? Gina Carano, right? Yeah, that you guys are doing some stuff with. So I applaud what you're doing. I keep up with you guys. So thank you for offering that, because people are listening and engaging with it every day. It's a great alternative. So thank you for what you're doing.
It's for me too.
Yeah, man. And awesome. So man, thank you for your time. Really appreciate the insight. Go get the book, everybody, The Truth and Beauty. It's available now. How can we keep up with you on your website, or how can we get the book?
Yeah, you can get the book on Amazon. If you get it, some people don't like Amazon, but if you get it there, it helps me because it raises it up the ranks. Yeah. And you can find me either at andrewklavan.com or at Andrew Klavan on Twitter. And I have a podcast every Friday on the Daily Wire, which is available wherever there are podcasts.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you for your time, man. Really appreciate it.
It's great talking to you, Carl.